Hi, this is Cindy Clark from PAC BTV, and I'm here this morning with Lauren Russett, who she has a variety of titles that she carries in this community. She has her own business, Russett PR. She's a trustee on the library. She's at the volunteer center. She's an office manager, and she's also director of the chamber. We'll try to figure out something else to throw in there for her to do too in her spare time. But anyways, Lauren, thank you so much for taking
Thank you
time
for having
out of your
me.
very busy schedule to come and talk to us. But I think I'd like to concentrate a little bit on the chamber because I know we have some events coming up, like Saturday, and then some future events. So why don't you start out by telling us how you got involved with the chamber to begin with?
So I got my first taste of the chamber a couple years ago. I went to a coffee talk over at Heritage Insurance where I met Matt Hunt and Marianne. And then I went to a luncheon at Abbott's, and I was starting to get a little bit involved just with my business. And then I was living in Chicago part-time at the time. So I was there and I was just kind of like somewhat involved, not really too involved. And then COVID hit. I helped a little bit with the Big Chill a couple years ago. And then a year ago, I just hit my 1 year anniversary last week at the chamber. I applied for the director position because it opened up and thought that it would pair well with the other work that I was doing. And so, yeah, I've been the chamber director for a year. It's been a good time.
Well, that's a good thing too because we've seen a lot of different events, the same ones that you've been going with. But now what have you got coming up next? What's the next event?
So this upcoming weekend we have Chowder Cook-Off, which is actually Jeff Rogers at Angry Garlic's event that we just help support. We kind of help run kind of like the admin side of things, the money, the promotion, along with Jeff and the other businesses. But that's this upcoming Saturday, March 26th, from 1 to 5 p.m. The tickets are only $10, and you get to sample at, I believe, 13 restaurants and businesses in our village, which is great because it really gets you to taste a couple different new things that you probably wouldn't have tried. There is non-clam chowder options, which was big for me because I have a seafood allergy. So, it's super fun event. Last year it was a beautiful day. This year it might be a little rainy, but it was a perfect day for chowder. So that's this upcoming weekend. Other events that we have coming up, April 1st, we have an after-hours networking event over at Sweet Dream Candy Shop, hosted by Robin. And that will be super fun. It's super informal, open to everyone. It's going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. And it's basically just a time to network, get to know Robin's candy store a little bit, and promote your business. I mean, it's just another way that our chamber members are allowed to connect with one another. We have a coffee talk over at Red Mill Manor, April 6th, I believe. Our coffee talks are always the first Wednesday of the month at 10 a.m. So Red Mill Manor is independent senior living and somewhat new to Beeville. So if you wanted to check it out or wanted to take a tour, it's a great time to do that. It's a beautiful space. They did a lot with it, the old Red Mill Manor or Red Mill Inn. And I mean, they won't let me live there because I'm too young, which is, I guess, a good problem to have. But
it is beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
It is.
It's gorgeous. And then we started our chamber luncheons a couple months ago. This upcoming one will be, I believe, April 26th. It's the fourth Tuesday of the month, and that will be over at Mohegan Manor. A few other things that we're looking forward to in the future is May 21st, we decided is the date for our community garage sale again.
Oh, good.
So
good.
Last year was the first time we did a community-wide garage sale. We created a virtual map where anyone who wanted to have a garage sale that day had the opportunity to submit their address, what they were selling, and we put it on a live map, which was super great. We had over, I think it was like 350 people viewing our map on that Saturday. With that, this year we're trying to make it as great as we can. Planning to have a couple food trucks over at Baldwin Square, and just seeing ways that we can kind of make it different, a little bit more lively, in the village square. And the point of the village square renting it is to have people who maybe live in apartments or things able to come into the village and sell their stuff there while also having some fun, hanging out with the chamber. The volunteer center usually does a drive. Last year we teamed up with the Rotary Backpack Program to do a donation drive with them, which was awesome. So hopefully that will be a great weather day.
I know.
It's always hard to plan for things like that in the future, but we're hoping for the best. It doesn't conflict with the Radisson garage sale, so it's back to a couple weeks. So there's a lot of garage sailing in May in Beeville, which will be great.
People love their garage sales.
They do.
Too. They really do. It's real big around here.
One thing that we're officially able to announce is that we will not be having a member showcase this year. It just, the planning of it didn't align with everyone's calendars correctly, and Budweiser, our partner, is super awesome when it comes to donating product, and they're still coming out of their COVID situation and lockdown, so we decided to postpone it. But one thing we are doing instead is we are planning out a new career fair, which will be geared toward our high school students, so we can get them a little bit involved in what Baldwinsville has to offer. Our plan is to have industries ranging from insurance to car care and everything, hospitality, get as many of our local businesses in a room for our students to be able to see all that we have to offer. I definitely know that I graduated only 5 years ago, so I remember being in high school saying like, well, I don't really want to live here, there's not much to do. And in reality, I know in the last 2 years of me being back here full time, I've been able to see how amazing this community is when it comes to business and how vibrant it is. And that's been my goal as a chamber director, to slowly start to implement the high school students more and more. So that was a lot, but that's
a great idea. Because years ago, I remember when I got out of school, there was nothing going on here. Nothing. It was pre-Budweiser. Now I'm dating myself, but there was really not a lot going on here. And so a lot of my the students, the people that I grew up with and went to school with, they left.
Right.
Because there was nothing here to be offered. Right. Now I see the turnaround. And it's a wonderful, I'm back in the village. I left for a while, came back, and, I love it. I absolutely love this community. So, and now all the events that are going on, all the things they have at the chamber and the volunteer center, and whatever, there's always something going on.
Right.
Always something going on. And something that you can do to contribute to your community, to draw awareness to what we have going on here. And I like that you with the chamber, you've zeroed in on all of that, the community, and it's really, you've done a great job as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Now you've got, all right, what else? Now are you involved with, now what else in the summer? What's going on in the summer?
July 16th or 17th. I don't remember the date on the top of my head. We have Margarita Fest.
Yes.
With the Baldwinsville Volunteer Center. It is one of our most fun fundraisers of the year.
It is fun.
We have a ton of our local restaurants who are kind enough to donate a margarita sample, and last year Jessie Cakes donated cupcakes, so it ranges. It's not just alcohol. Angela at Fashion Rescue had some non-alcoholic margaritas, which was great.
Right, I remember that.
But then and it's a competition now, so people are able to vote for their top margarita of choice. San Miguel won recently. They also won last year's Chowder Cook-Off. So it'll be interesting to see how they rank this year with Chowder Cook-Off and Margarita Fest, and we're super excited for that. But yeah, no, it's definitely a great way to support the Volunteer Center, which does a ton for our community. So yeah, keep an eye out on our Facebook page for that. The Volunteer Center will also have our annual dinner for Volunteer of the Year. Each year they pick 2 volunteers.
That's right.
Nominations are already submitted, and they are going through the nominations now. And we're super excited to see how that all plays out.
Good. Now, what else? What else do you do after July? What have you got going on after that?
I think the chamber has a pretty slow July and August. Just because
Well, July's big with the Margarita
yeah,
Fest,
that's
but vacations,
right?
Yeah.
The chamber tries to slow down a little bit in July and August because September we have our Taste of Beeville event. So most of August is spent planning and prepping for that event on the island, which is
the Taste of Baldwinsville. That's a big one. That's a big event.
Yes.
Now, when is that? Have you got a date on that yet, or?
We don't have the final date.
Okay.
We have the weekend. There's 2 possibilities, so that will be announced hopefully in the next coming weeks. We just obviously have to go through and make sure permit wise and we're able to use the space in general at the island. Make sure there's no conflicts. So.
Right. I look forward to that because that's always a good deal.
That is my favorite event that I have ever helped participate in. I was very exhausted after this year's because it was my first year. I mean, I'm an event planner at heart, so it was crazy to be able to see all those people on the island this year. So I'm super excited for this year because now I've got my feet in the water. I'm good. I understand the ins and outs of the event, so now I'm able to really help and really see how we can improve and make it even better, which I don't even know is possible.
I know, it was fabulous.
Hopefully everything.
Yeah, it was good.
Perfect.
It was. Then we're having concerts this year.
Yep.
So that's it's good to see more activity on the island.
Yeah.
Because then we have the concerts, we have that. We'll have Zumba on the island probably again
Right.
for all the Zumba exercise fans. And also, aren't you involved with the Visitor Center?
I am.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the Visitor Center.
The Visitor Center will open Memorial Day weekend this year. This past year, it was my first summer with Visitor Center, so just trying to learn the process of everything that has to go into it. And this year, it's one of my goals to make it as fun and as exciting as possible. I think not only for the people who are coming to visit Baldwinsville over off the lock, but also our greeters who spend 2 hours to volunteer. I'd love to really get some of our students in there to really show them some of the history of Beeville and kind of get them to really be able to interact with visitors and people who from all over, because I think when I look at the book that our guests write in, it's so cool to see all these people from so many different places, and I think that's really beneficial to our younger students and gives them some volunteer hours too. So we will be having some information in about 2 weeks from now on how to become a greeter and the process of signing up to volunteer. I just started planning out our books for the year with the new menus and all the awesome stuff from our local businesses. So I'm super excited for the Visitor Center for this year.
Well, it is fun because I know I've done it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
We didn't have it during COVID, obviously, but I like the mornings because you bring your coffee or your donut or whatever, and you sit there. And I've been real lucky with the weather when I volunteered. But you just sit on that little front porch.
Right.
The house is over by the lock near the cemetery on the trail. That's where that cute little house that's there. That's the visitor center. And you just sit there. You have 2 hours, a 2-hour stint.
Yep.
And you watch the boats go by. The people come in. We had people come in as far as Arizona.
Right.
I didn't realize there were that many waterways where they could come in. But people love the visitor center because it's a veritable fountain of information. They love to tell their story.
Right.
They love the idea that we have this little house here that they can come to if they have questions or they're looking for a laundromat or a taxi or Uber or whatever. They love that there's somebody there to show them the ropes. They tell their story. They sign in on the book, the visitor's book, and it's amazing talking to people from all over the country. It's a real asset to this community. It really is. So anyways, I think we've got it, haven't we? I mean,
I think so.
Most of what the chamber's doing, the visitor, is there anything going on with the the volunteer center that you want to let people
Just
know? Or
Margarita Fest and Volunteer of the Year, I think for now is our priorities. Oh, we just actually on Saturday were able to mail out our annual appeal letters. So if you are able to donate to the Volunteer Center, we're very appreciative. We run a lot of programs. Our number one is, I would say, is our help project, which helps provide our local pantries and organizations with household essential items such as shampoo, conditioner, laundry detergent, things that people don't tend to think of when they're going to donate to a food pantry. But the people who tend to be going to these food pantries also need assistance with those important products for their livelihood. And the volunteer center is really good about making sure that our food pantries have what they need. The volunteer center is also responsible for Christmas Bureau, which is just
Huge.
Outstanding,
Huge.
fantastic
It's
program
fabulous.
that just helps so many of our Baldwinsville families. But then we also we try to help out wherever we can. One thing that we're hopefully the summer we'll be able to really focus on is really connecting volunteers with really awesome opportunities. Sometimes it's hard because we only have so many opportunities, and because that's what we get in, and hopefully our organizations will start to really reach out and say, hey, like, I need this, because I think it's so often these volunteer organizations, they know they need volunteers, but they don't like to ask for it. It's not really their priority. Their priority is helping the people.
Right.
So I know it's a really great, we're a great resource at getting them the help that they deserve and they need. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of start helping out a little bit more in that sense. So.
And volunteers, that's always an issue with every organization.
Yep.
So if you're interested in volunteering for any of these organizations, you can reach out on Facebook or on their site.
The Volunteer Center's website has a form if you're interested in volunteering. We try to match. We usually just keep a database for now of the people who've reached out, and hopefully if a spot comes up that's a good match. But then we also have a form for any local organizations that, hey, we need a volunteer as soon as possible, or we have an event coming up, and things like that.
Well, just remember that volunteers are always appreciated for every organization. It's always an issue. And we thank all the volunteers and everybody for being involved to make this community what it is. And I thoroughly appreciate you coming in and spending your time, because I know...
Of course.
I know you're busy, you wear many different hats.
There's a lot.
But thanks again, and you take care. Is there anything else? Have we hit it all?
Yes, the
Okay,
library.
one more thing. Okay.
The library, I just thought about, we have our annual budget vote coming up next month, I believe, as well as we do have a trustee spot open. So if anyone is interested in running for that, you just have to live in Baldwinsville, I think be 18 years or older.
I think you're right.
But also our children's department, we are trying to go through a massive renovation of our children's department in honor of the 2 little girls who passed away in a car accident about 1.5 years ago. And the library is currently accepting donations to help with that, but also donations could be made directly to Annal's Angels to help fund that project. I think our library is a fantastic resource for so many people, and the kids in our community really love to spend time there. And I think it's time to really prioritize the space and create a fun atmosphere, while obviously honoring those 2 little girls. So I think that's it. Now I'm done.
Okay. But anyways, thanks again. We appreciate you spending your time here. And if anybody has any questions, wants to be a volunteer, you could, if you aren't sure which place to contact, you can always leave an email with us at www.pacbtv.org, and we can forward any questions or ideas or whatever on to Lauren. But again, thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you.